Everyone, will call this meeting to order. I will ask if there's any disclosure of pecuniary interest. I am aware of one for Councillor Watson. He is declared on bylaw 2021-79 due to a business relationship, so we will pull that one at that time and vote on it separately. If throughout the meeting you find that you do, please declare it at that time. Adoption of minutes. If I can have a mover and seconder for the council minutes of August 31st, Councillor Kinney and Councillor Foster resolve that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held August 31st, 2021 are hereby adopted as circulated. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Item 3.2, special meeting of council September 7th. If I could have a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kinney and Councillor Wells resolve that the minutes of the special meeting of council held September 7th, 2021 are hereby adopted as circulated. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Deputations, presentations, petitions, and public meetings. We have none. Comment and question period. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone registered to speak today?
Your Worship, we do not.
Okay, thank you. Unfinished business, we have none. Correspondence received for information. If I can have a mover and seconder, please, for the Ministry of Municipal Affairs letter dated September 9th. Councillor Watson and Councillor Kinney. The council received the Ministry of Municipal Affairs letter dated September 9th, 2021 regarding a site plan control guide for information. Is there any discussion on this item? All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Item 7.1.2, County of Simcoe's notice regarding the municipal comprehensive review. If I can have a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kinney and Councillor Foster. The council received the County of Simcoe's notice regarding municipal comprehensive review public information sessions for information. Is there any discussion on this item? Councillor Belanger?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. My only question on that is the sessions were from 1:30 to 3 and from 4 to 5:30, which excludes a lot of people that are working full-time jobs. And I was just wondered why the county wouldn't have had an evening session. Thank you.
Okay, and I don't have the answer for that. Maybe our CAO can pass that on to the CAO at the county. Thank you, George. If there's nothing else on this, all those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Item 7.1.3, Simcoe Muskoka District Health Units letter dated September 23rd. A mover and seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Bray and Councillor Foster. The council received the letters dated September 23rd, 2021 from the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit regarding COVID-19 vaccination clinics for information. Is there any discussion? Councillor Kinney?
Thank you, Worship. It's nice to see that the health unit was able to send out some letters of good work and congratulations to some of our staff. And I think it's well earned. So kudos to them. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. If there's nothing else, all those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. There's no correspondence requiring action or referred. Committee board and staff reports. We will start with community services. Councillor Kinney, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. The following are the highlights of the September 9th, 2021 Community Service section of Coordinated Committee. Committee hosted a public meeting for proposal of Sunny View Estates Construction, Inc., which requires a zoning bylaw amendment for the project to go ahead. Located on the north side of Golf Course Road, south of River Road West, and east of Wesley Avenue, the applicant proposes variations or variances to the zoning provisions to allow increase in permitted lot coverage and height of proposed homes, as well as a reduction in minimum rear yard setbacks for lots with less than 30 meters in depth. The application also proposes to permit an increase in the encroachment of porches into the front, rear, and exterior side yards. Planning staff will review the applications and provide a recommendation report to council. Committee is recommending council adopt the proposed bylaw to regulate open fires within the town of Wasaga Beach. The draft bylaw proposes a number of new changes, including allowing fires at any time except between 1 a.m. to 6 p.m., as well as there will now be full cost recovery for the town to put out fires that contravene the bylaw. The committee is also recommending that council support reducing the number of provincial appointees to the proposed new police service board that will serve the Huroney West Detachment to 2 appointees. It had been recommended that 3 provincial appointees sit on the board, but in late August, the province said it now is recommending 2 appointees to ensure consistency. Reducing the number of appointees would result in the board of 11 members. Committee received for information the 2021 second quarter OPP policing stats for information. The report covers motor vehicle collisions, violent crimes, speeding, and impaired driving, plus several other categories. For the period of April to June, the detachment responded to 122 motor vehicle collisions, 3 assaults, and nearly 30 thefts. On behalf of the Community Service Section of Coordinated Committee, I ask that council approve the recommendations in this report. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll ask if there's any questions of Councillor Kinney's report. Okay, we'll move on to Public Works. Councillor Watson.
Thank you, Your Worship. The following are the highlights from the September 9th, 2021 Public Works section of Coordinated Committee. Committee received the Water Pollution Control Plant Monthly Performance Report and the Drinking Water System Monthly Performance Report, with both reports showing the systems operating to provincial standards. Committee received the Capital Works Project Status Report for information. The report provides a high-level overview of projects the town is pursuing. Each project represents an investment in infrastructure. The report noted the Orchard Drive pedestrian bridge replacement project is winding down. Completion of the bridge installation occurred in August. Work continued on the Bay Sands external drainage project. Work also continued on the Ramblewood Drive urbanization project. The report highlighted several other projects. Public transit reports were also received for information. Almost 5,200 rides were taken on Wasaga Beach Transit in August. Year-to-date ridership sits at 34,362. The county Lynx bus to Collingwood had ridership of 4,799, and the Lynx bus from the beach to Barrie had 2,432 rides. On behalf of the Public Works section of Coordinated Committee, I ask that council approve the recommendations in this report. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions of Councillor Watson's report? Okay, we will move on to Development Committee. Councillor Foster.
Thank you, Your Worship. The following are the highlights from the September 9th, 2021 Development Services section of Coordinated Committee. Committee received the Building Department Activity Report for August. The department issued 70 building permits for construction valued at $13 million. 49 of the permits issued were for new homes. Staff have issued 306 residential permits to date, and almost 140 permit applications are in the queue for review. Committee received the Economic Development Activity Report for August. The report noted work on the town branding exercise continues. As well, work continues to have a mural placed at 140 Main Street, and a more detailed update on this will be provided in a second here. Staff have also posted an RFP to have 11 new wayfinding signs installed in the community. As well, staff continue to conduct visits to local businesses to ensure a dialogue and share resource materials. A number of new businesses have opened recently. including Starbuds Cannabis, Cannabis Cove, and Hearing Life. DePalma and Associates also celebrated the opening of their new space off Ramblewood Drive. Committee is recommending that council approve the submission provided by Future Day Inc. for a mural on the north wall of the new Archives building at 140 Main Street. Committee is recommending that council direct staff to prepare an agreement with Future Days for the completion of the mural at a cost of $14,500, not including HST. And the mural will feature natural, historical, and outdoor activity images relevant to Wasaga Beach. On behalf of the Development Services Section of Coordinating Committee, I ask the council approve the recommendations in this report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions of Councillor Foster? Okay, we will move to general government. Deputy Mayor Bray, please.
Thank you. I'm just wrestling with technology. The following are the highlights from the September 9th, 2021 General Government section of Coordinated Committee. It was a light section for general government, which is unusual. The town's communications officer, the deputy fire chief, and the chief administrative officer presented a COVID-19 update. The presenters advised committee that the province is rolling out a vaccine passport system. The passport system went into effect September 22nd. The town has taken steps to ensure it meets the requirements as prescribed by the province at the various facilities it operates. On behalf of the General Government Services section of Coordinated Committee, I ask that council receive this report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a mover and seconder, please, for all of these reports? Councillor Foster and Councillor Wells. The council received the Coordinated Committee reports September 9th, 2021 as circulated and approves all actions contained therein. Any further discussion? All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you. And I've just been advised by staff that bylaw number 2021-78 has been requested by staff to be pulled, so we will pull that from the agenda. Moving on, item 8.2 is Committee of the Whole minutes. The following are the highlights from the September 16th Committee of the Whole meeting. Committee is recommending the council award the contract for the Glendale Park Playground redevelopment to M&S Architectural Concrete at a cost of $291,000 plus HST. Committee received the August Municipal Law Enforcement Report for information. The report notes that the department received nearly 750 calls for service, a 30% increase in calls handled from 2020, and a 68% increase in calls handled from 2019. Committee received the Santa Claus float and trailer purchase report and authorized staff to buy a 24-foot replacement trailer at a cost of $12,675, excluding HST, from Scott Reinhardt Trailer Sales Limited. Committee is recommending that council approve the specifications for the holiday float design as outlined in the report. Committee also recommends that council authorize staff to award the parade float design project up to a limit of $15,000 to the proponent with the best submission from at least 3 formal request quotes gathered. Insurance will partially cover the cost, with the balance coming from reserves. Committee is recommending that council consider a series of proposed staffing changes to the planning department as part of the 2022 budget. The changes will better position the department to provide planning services to the community. Among the changes is the creation of a full-time manager of planning. Committee is recommending that council receive the May to July 2021 financial report for information. Financial results for the period are within budget for the most part, aside from some areas affected by the pandemic. The town continues to be in a healthy financial position with the ability to maintain service levels and address growth-related capital works. Finally, committee recommends council approve the contract extension for Collier's project leaders for 8 additional months of project management services for the Twin Pad Arena and Library project at a fixed fee of $112,220. Detail of the extension is in the staff report. On behalf of Committee of the Whole, I ask that council approve the recommendations in this report. Is there any discussion on any of those? If I could have a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Wells and Deputy Mayor Bray. The council received the Committee of the Whole report of September 16th, 2021 as circulated and approves all actions contained therein. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. 8.3 is the accounts. Deputy Mayor Bray, did you wish to speak to these?
Thank you, Your Worship. The accounts have been reviewed and supported by the respective standing committees as presented to council today.
Thank you. And if I could have a mover and seconder, please, for the accounts. Deputy Mayor Bray and Councillor Kinney. The council approved the August 1st to 31st, 2021 accounts in the amount of $4,979,985.27. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Item 8.4 is the executive assistant report regarding proclamations and flag raisings. If I could have a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Watson and Councillor Kinney. The council received the information report pertaining to proclamations and flag raisings for the month of September 2021 for information. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. 8.5 is the Economic Development Officer's report regarding wayfinding. If I could have a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Belanger and Councillor Kinney. The council award the contract RFP 2021 EDO 02 to Steel Art Signs to design, fabricate, and install 11 regional tourism Organization 7 signs in the amount of $49,548.01, exclusive of HST and inclusive of disbursements and contingency for the town of Wasaga Beach. And further, that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the associated agreement. Is there any discussion on this item? All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Item 8.6, if I could have a mover and seconder, please, for records and information management. Councillor Kinney, Deputy Mayor Bray. The council received for information the Freedom of Information Access Request 2020 Annual Statistic Report. Is there any discussion? Councillor Kinney.
Thank you, Your Worship. Reading the report, I found it quite interesting that not only does the town try its best to be open and transparent, but there's actually reports that have to go to a higher level that make sure that we're not missing an I or dotting an I or crossing a T. And just kudos to our clerk staff for keeping us on track. Thank you.
I see Carly joined us on the screen here, so thank you, Carly. If there's no other questions or comments, I will call it. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Item 8.7, with regard to the CAO's report regarding workplace vaccination policy. If I could have a mover and seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Kinney, seconded by Councillor Wells. The council approved the town of Wasaga Beach workplace COVID-19 vaccination policy. The council approved the payout of accumulated unused 2020 vacation time by December 31st, 2021. The council approved the carryover of unused 2021 vacation time to 2022 to be used by June 3rd of 2022. The council confirmed that the level of municipal law enforcement services provided to assist with COVID-19 enforcement matters shall remain the same as established on February 11th, 2021 and confirmed on April 27th, 2021. Mr. CEO, did you wish to speak to this at all before I call the vote on this or open it for questions?
Thank you, Worship. Yes, I'm going to be very brief. I think the matters other than the vaccination policy speak for themselves. Our Deputy Fire Chief is standing by to give council and the public a high-level overview of the vaccination policy so that everyone can understand what the policy is and what the requirements are. So, Your Worship, I'll turn it over to you, and I see our Deputy Chief has popped up on the screen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Chief, you may go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good afternoon, members of council. Within your council agenda packages, you'll find the proposed COVID-19 policy regarding vaccination of employees, as well as a supplemental question and answer document. The policy is intended to apply to all current and future members of council, committee members, staff, students, volunteers, and would take effect on October the 15th of 2021. The policy was created in consultation with the Canadian Union of Public Employees, as well as the Wasaga Beach Professional Firefighters Association and members of the Joint Health and Safety Committee. And the purpose of the policy is to implement some additional measures to manage the health and safety impacts of COVID-19 within our workplace. The command team has conducted an assessment of the transmission risk for our municipal facilities, and in consultation with the Simcoe Muskoka Health Unit, we've determined that our workplace faces a moderate risk level for virus transmission. The policy recognizes that the approach to controlling the virus continues to evolve, and it respects that employees have the right to make informed decisions about their personal health care, including the decision to receive a vaccine. We will continue to strongly encourage all employees to receive a vaccine. We have and will continue to make vaccine appointments available to staff and provide education sessions as required. All employees will have until October the 15th to submit proof of vaccination to the Manager of Human Resources. Any individual who fails to submit this proof by October the 15th, regardless of the reason, will be treated as an unvaccinated person for the purpose of this policy. Unvaccinated employees will be required to wear a mask in all non-public areas of the workplace whenever there's another employee present in the room, regardless of physical distancing or any other public health measure that might be in place. Additionally, should an outbreak occur, unvaccinated employees will be subject to other precautions, including the use of additional personal protective equipment, the assignment of modified duties or reassignment of duties, and redeployment to alternative municipal facility sites. The employee may also request the use of vacation time or an unpaid leave of absence. Under no circumstances will an employee face intimidation, coercion, bullying, or any other negative behavior based on their decision to become vaccinated or not. The municipality will support our employees in their decision-making. This policy will be subject to review and modification, and it will be updated as the pandemic continues to evolve.
Okay, thanks, Craig. And thank you, Craig, and other staff who worked on this policy. I think it's a fair and common sense approach to what we're dealing with. Our staff have been excellent in stepping up during COVID and keeping things going here in Wasaga Beach. And I think this policy is a great way to continue on. So George, did you have any other questions or comments before I open it up to council members?
Worship, yes, just I want to commend staff, specifically our Deputy Fire Chief and our Manager of Human Resources for doing the bulk of the legwork on the preparation of the policy. With respect to the recommendation with respect to municipal law enforcement, the recommendation is basically to continue with our current approach, which is to be supportive of the lead enforcement agencies in our community as they enforce the provisions under the Ontario Reopening Act. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I saw a few cards. I think Councillor Foster, you had yours up.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, I appreciate Craig coming on and giving a little clarification on the vaccination policy. When I originally read it, I thought it doesn't really have a lot of teeth to it, and again, I have concerns, say representing immunocompromised people, that the workplace could become somewhat dangerous on a choice. But I think they've laid it out, as you said, a relatively fair and common sense approach, being aware that this can evolve. I also did want to point out that I think it shows well on all of staff that we worked almost immediately to modify the environment for staff to make it such that they could continue to work, which not a lot of municipalities did, in a safe environment. And it shows that there really hasn't been an outbreak within the town, according to the report. So I guess my only question on perhaps to Craig or George is, should a person choose not to disclose or not be vaccinated for whatever reason, and they're working in a communal environment, how will the discussion continue on? Because again, we don't want to put staff in a situation where they have to confront another staff. Is it run up the chain of command and goes that way, or is there an appeal method, or do they go directly to the health and safety coordinator? Just curious on that.
Craig?
So the deadline would be October 15th, again, to submit your proof of vaccination. And anybody who does not submit the proof of vaccine, regardless of the reason, so it may be that they have not been vaccinated, it may be that they have a contraindication or a medical exemption from vaccination, but regardless, if they haven't added that layer of protection for themselves, then they will be treated as unvaccinated. The manager of human resources will communicate the list of unvaccinated individuals to the department heads and managers of specific departments. And it will be up to the managers and department heads to enforce the policy. And the example would be that the individual who is unvaccinated will continue to wear a mask in all areas, regardless of physical distancing. And that's really a measure to protect the unvaccinated individual as someone who has chosen not to take the level of protection that the vaccine gives. In the event that an unvaccinated person is non-compliant with the policy, i.e. they refuse to wear a mask at all times, then that would be a matter to take up with the Human Resource Department and could result in potential discipline for the individual.
Thank you for that.
Okay, Councillor Kinney.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you to Craig and to George. Reading the policy, I thought it was well put together with the hopes and the intent to apply an overlying layer of safety to all our employees and staff. And I think we took that all the way through the pandemic, and this is just another extension of it. And I truly hope individuals will do their best to abide by the policy. They're getting to vaccinations or, you know, talking to your manager and explaining why, and then looking out for your own safety, which would be to mask up and just to be safe within your work environment. I think that's all we're really asking people to be, is safe in their work environment. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments of Craig? Okay, thanks, Craig. Thanks, George. I've already read the motion. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Item 8.8, I've been asked to wait until after our in-camera discussion. So when we come out of in-camera, we will go to item 8.8, which takes us to 8.9. Mr. CAO, your verbal update regarding COVID.
Thank you, Worship, members of council. So I covered a lot of what I would normally say through the report earlier. However, there have been some recent developments, both at the provincial and at the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit level. So I'll ask our communications officer and our deputy fire chief to address those. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, George.
Mr. Jennings, go ahead. I like your shirt. Would you like to just stand up and show us what that's all about?
Thank you, Your Worship. These are our Twin Pad Arena Library shirts that I just wanted to share with everyone. Together we can create a legacy, and you can learn all about how you can contribute to our project on our website. Sorry to hijack our COVID report with that little missive, but I wanted to share it. We'll staff are wearing these around the organization so the public may see them from time to time. On with COVID. As was mentioned earlier, we have the passport system that was introduced on September the 22nd. Yesterday, the province announced that it's investing $100 million through the new tourism recovery program to help stabilize the province's tourism industry as it recovers from COVID. The program will help for-profit tourism businesses in the attraction, accommodation, and leisure travel sectors protect critical jobs in communities across the province and help them prepare to reopen and welcome people back. Full details are on the province's website, and our economic development officer also has this information. So if local businesses wish to learn more about how it might benefit them, they should reach out to Kate Monsma. I also wanted to share that yesterday the province announced 100 new health and safety inspectors were graduating, and they are going to be deployed to ensure that the vaccine passport system protocols are followed properly by local businesses and employees. So they will be more boots on the ground, so to speak. And we heard a bit earlier today that Ontario's Science Advisory Table is set to release new COVID-19 projections. I haven't seen any further details on that, but I wanted to share that with members of council. And that concludes my COVID update for everyone.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of Mike? Councillor Kinney?
Thank you, Worship. Quickly to Mike, and you probably don't know the answer, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. With 100 new boots on the ground, do we know what ground they're going to be walking on? Did the province say where they're going to disperse them?
That information, Councillor, through you, your worship, was not part of the package that I received yesterday, but we can certainly try and find that out for you and get you an answer.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Blanchet?
Yes, thank you, your worship. I had just prior to the meeting a couple days ago emailed our deputy fire chief just to get an update on in-person council meetings, if anything's changed or are projected. Thank you.
Okay, I'll ask if there's any more questions of Mr. Jennings. Okay, thanks, Mike. We'll move on to Deputy Chief Williams.
Good afternoon again. To answer the last question from Councillor Kenny, the focus was is going to be healthcare sector and construction. I did see that email yesterday. For an update from the Simcoe Muskoka Health Unit, provincially there have been 585,000 cases, including 570,000 recoveries and 9,715 deaths. There are 315 individuals who are COVID positive in the ICUs across the province, with 108 currently on ventilators. The provincial testing positivity rate is 2%, and to date, Ontario has completed more than 18 million COVID-19 test swabs. Provincially, individuals over 8 years old, 86% have received 1 dose of vaccine, while 80% have received 2 doses of vaccine. More locally within the Simcoe Muskoka region, we've had a total of 13,462 cases with just over 13,000 recoveries and 260 deaths. There were 105 cases reported to the health unit last week, which is 26% lower than the 141 cases reported for the week of September 12th. There are currently 8 individuals hospitalized in Simcoe Muskoka, and the 7-day moving average is now 21.4 cases per day. The percent positivity is 1.1%, and there are currently 5 active outbreaks in the region, including 4 education settings and 1 workplace. 85% of residents over 12 years old have received a single dose of vaccine, while 79% are double dosed. And in Wasaga Beach, we are now at 306 cases. That number includes 2 individuals hospitalized, 4 that are isolating within the community, 5 deaths, and 297 that are recovered. 9 of the cases were listed in the last 14 days, with the last case occurring on September the 26th. And finally, within Wasaga Beach, 86% of our community over 12 years old has 1 dose of vaccine, and 80% are fully immunized. So we've met a very important threshold. My last plug I'd like to add there is I've been getting a lot of calls for where can I get my vaccine still, now that the mass vaccination sites have ramped down. There is an opportunity for anybody who wishes to do a walk-in appointment tonight at the Recplex from 4:30 until 9 o'clock. But I will let everybody know that the number of vaccine clinics left is quickly reducing. So get it while you can and while it's convenient, or else it might mean travel out of town. And that concludes my update.
Okay, thanks, Craig. Councillor Boulanger did ask a question with regard to meetings, and I don't know that you have the answer to that. I don't know if our clerk has the answer to that, but it's something that we'll be looking at and discussing. And when it's appropriate to start meeting in person, then we will start meeting in person. I know a lot of municipalities still aren't doing that. They still don't have their staff at work. But Dina, maybe you can, as the clerk, you can give us an indication as to when some thought might come forward for council for consideration.
Certainly, Your Worship. I've actually joined a webinar as well, just to go through the experiences of the other municipalities in Ontario. Some of them are doing a hybrid solution, that there's no public for the most part that are attending meetings. And we just need to also work with IT to make sure our systems will continue to support the hybrid meeting schedule. And I need to also meet with the command team as well as Craig just to find out what the updates are from the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit and make sure that we're following all protocols there. So we will be looking into it and we'll bring something forward as soon as we can.
Okay, thank you for that. Craig, did I see your hand go up? Go ahead.
Just to quickly mention, I apologize, Councillor Belanger, I did not see an email from you. So if you did send one, if you could resend it to consider. But I more wanted to just bring up that in a previous meeting, I had suggested that the vaccine passport system would apply to council chambers. There was an announcement with a discussion with the health unit that may not be true, that a passport system may not be required to hold a council meeting. So we will certainly look further into that and come back as part of our recommendation to council with that accurate information. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, there's lots of things to look into and make sure that we're following the proper protocols and process. And just for clarification, Craig, Councillor Belanger had just mentioned it during Mr. Jennings' report. There wasn't an email, so it was just yeah.
Okay, perfect. I don't like to think that I missed something, so thank you.
No, you're good. Thank you. Councillor Wells, I saw your card up.
Thank you, Your Worship. To the Deputy Chief, there's been some recent talk about a booster for immunocompromised individuals. Do you have any information on where we're at with that within this immediate area?
Craig?
Not to the level of detail that I'd feel comfortable explaining much about. You are 100% accurate, Councillor Wells. There is a small portion of the population that is now eligible for the booster shot. The information is available on the Simcoe Muskoka website. I have looked at it, but I'm not able to speak to the exact details of who would be eligible and who would not.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions of Craig? Okay, Mr. CEO, did you have anything to add before I read the motion?
Thank you, Worship. No, I had nothing further to add. Thank you.
Okay, if I could have a mover and seconder to receive this for information. Councillor Kinney, Councillor Belanger. The council received the September 28th, 2021 verbal COVID-19 update from the CAO for information. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Next, we'll move to community announcements. And today we will start with Councillor Watson.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is my council report. It was an extremely busy month with a lot accomplished by council. I attended the staff appreciation barbecue. There was very good turnout, and it was very nice to see a big contingent of our local OPP officers at the barbecue. There was a grand opening for the Cannabis Cove in Wasaga Beach. I attended Grandma's Beach Treats fundraiser for my friend's house. There was a flag raising and proclamation for childhood cancer research. I brought greetings on behalf of Mayor and Council to the Wasaga Beach Presbyterian Church for their newly opened Serenity Garden. That's a beautiful garden area for quiet reflection for people to go to and enjoy, and very heartened to hear about all the businesses in the community that contributed to this wonderful garden. Wasaga Builders met in person for their first meeting this month, and our Deputy Fire Chief Craig Williams spoke to the group and gave them some education on the new protocols with COVID going forward and the vaccine passports and how they can tackle that with their own businesses. We had a grand opening at Metamorphosis, an addiction treatment center in Wasaga Beach, also an opening for Eat, Sleep, Grow, and Repeat, a gently used children's clothing store that just opened up. Chamber of Business Awards were handed out about a week ago. I congratulate all the nominees and the winners there, and it was very well attended, and just congratulations everyone that participated in that. We also had a grand opening at Sierra's Mexican Cabana, very authentic Mexican food. Curling clubs in the area are opening up, and the Stainer Club is preparing to open this winter, and over half of the membership of the Stainer Curling Club are from Wasaga Beach, just to let them know that they will be curling this winter, hopefully. Attended an MVCA meeting and was helping and assisting residents with some of their permitting issues through the MVCA. The federal election, of course, was held, and I congratulate all the successful candidates in our area and the re-election of Mr. Terry Dowdle in for Simcoe Gray. We had a tour of the archives just yesterday, and the volunteers have done a wonderful job in moving everything over from the very small space at the library and opening up this great facility. And I think the public will be well served and really enjoy when they go into the facility. I will speak briefly on the car rally this weekend. The mayor's media release for the unsanctioned car event touched on many important points. I'll just add that under the Municipal Act, Section 224, the role of council, the #1 priority is to represent the public, support the municipality and its operations, and to ensure the well-being and interests of the municipality. Also to protect the lives and property of its residents. It does not say part of the municipality, it is all of the municipality. We as a team, the OPP, council, fire department, public works, and municipal staff did just that by stepping up, organizing, and being proactive to protect our residents. In my opinion, those that encourage, condone, support it, and welcome this lawless group and their activities have done a disservice to Wasaga Beach and our residents who have invested in their homes and businesses to enjoy the wonderful lifestyle that Wasaga Beach provides to us all. Their lack of knowledge about the ill intentions of this car group is exceeded only by their lack of concern for the health and welfare of our citizens, our police force, first responders, and municipal staff. On a much happier note, I was extremely proud to be part of the sod turning ceremony for our new library and arena. Libraries are community building blocks. Historically, libraries are the heart and center of a community. They are the center for the arts. There are many universities, and libraries are champions for our youth. Communities that promote participation in sport and recreation develop strong social bonds and safer communities, and the people that live in those communities are generally healthier and happier than places where physical activity is not a priority. This new arena will be such a catalyst for our town and offer activities and services that will appeal to all age groups and bring year-round activity to our business community. Our current Wasaga Stars Arena and the minor hockey associations and figure skating clubs over the past 50 years have nurtured and supported thousands of our young people through the years, and our new facility will carry on that tradition. This council are community builders. We put words into action for our thriving and dynamic and growing town. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. We'll go to Councillor Belanger.
Thank you, Your Worship. Some of them, obviously, it was a busy month, and I'll quickly go through some that were repeated. The staff barbecue, Cannabis Cove grand opening. I will say we went to a very rare event where Colin and Marg Bailey were celebrating 70 years of anniversary. Got to speak to their son, Steve, that cares for them quite a bit. And it's with a heavy heart that I tell you that just shortly after that event, Marg Bailey has passed away. And so our thoughts and prayers are with Colin and their son, Steve. On Friday, September 8th, I participated in a pre-election 100 environment debates where most of the candidates spoke to their positions re the environment. I did go to the grand opening of Metamorphosis, which is a rehabilitation center that's opening in our community. And subsequent to that, I was met with the minister of my Wasaga Beach United Church, who is going through an exercise of community connections. And we had a very good discussion. Eat, Sleep, Grow and Repeat grand opening, the Chamber of Commerce Business Awards, went to the Wasaga Beach Ratepayers Association meeting. I was asked to speak about the Fly Fearlessly event, which supported a charity event for ALS. And it was a historic event in that it's the first time we were ever able to skydive onto Wasaga Beach. It was quite exciting. The Sierra Mexican Cabana grand opening, and yes, someone mentioned the food was very good. You should try it. It is very authentic. Went to the Arena and Library groundbreaking ceremony, and certainly it was very exciting to hear about a $1 million donation and the naming of the facility. We did the tour of the new archives building at 140 Main, and they are partway through the mural if anybody wants to see the process of that going up. And as early as this morning, we went to a demonstration. We're considering the purchase of a new ladder truck, and the truck that was being demoed had a 110-foot extension, far superior to the truck we have now, and it also had a platform, which it was pretty exciting. I didn't go up, but I know before I left, Councillor Watson and your worship got up in the world. So congratulations to you. Thanks.
Thank you. It's a great view from up there. Deputy Mayor Bray.
Thank you. It definitely is a great view from up there, and it felt very safe in a platform. I would not want to be up there on a ladder, just to be clear. Thank you. I know things are busy. You can certainly feel the pace picking up. I think the world is trying to figure out how to navigate the new rules of COVID. Went to my first in-person conference in Ontario that, in over 2 years, and we were the first group that hotel had hosted in 18 months. So it was just incredible to see the process they had in place, and how well and how safe the entire, it was a Rotary conference, but how well it was done. So got to see Timmins, Ontario, and every little town between here and then, which was awesome. Highlight of the month was probably the Arena and Library groundbreaking. As part of the construction steering group, we've watched this come to life from from ideas from a piece of paper from an architect's mind. So it's really quite exciting to actually have a shovel in your hand and see the space, and drive by there now just about every day and see that things are changing so quickly. So that's incredibly exciting for our community. This month, the Age Friendly group started to meet. It was our second Zoom meeting, but there's some new members on the committee, and it's exciting to feel that energy and enthusiasm to get back to meeting, even if it is virtual. Other meetings, I guess Wasaga Beach Women's Business Association has gone back to live meetings. And again, it's nice to network with other business owners and see and hear how and what they have been doing for the last 18 months. Took part in the first golf tournament, again, in 18 months. It was for the Georgian Triangle Humane Society. And I think my clubs enjoyed the rest. It was actually a really good day, which is unusual for Sylvia as a golfer. So, and then the last two things I just wanted to briefly mention was that as a councillor at County Council, today we were informed that Simcoe County Forest, of which we, the residents, own 33,000 acres, the largest forest in all of Canada that's municipally owned, won an award for, I'm going to read it because it's an unusual word, Forest Capital of Canada 2022. So we have won this award twice over the lifetime, over the 100 years of managing this forest, which is a first. And I just think kudos to the county, to the councils before us that knew and saw and recognized that there was a need to preserve these forests. And the management is just incredible, because we do continue to win awards. So very proud day to be a county councillor. And then finally, tomorrow, September 30th, is the first National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. And I would just encourage all to take a few minutes to learn from the past, in the hopes that we can do a little bit better in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Wells.
Thank you, Your Worship. I think most things have been covered in some detail, but I did attend the opening of Cannabis Cove and the opening of the Metamorphosis Rehabilitation Center and the Eat, Sleep, Grow and Repeat gently new and gently used children's or small children's clothing. An incredible inventory that she had there, and not being one that purchases a lot of that type of thing these days, but it looked to me like her prices were extremely reasonable for the product that she was offering for sale. I attended the Chamber Business Awards virtually, and I want to congratulate the Chamber on an excellent awards show under the conditions of a virtual event, and also congratulate all of the award winners and the nominees as well for what they have put into our town as community support, offering services and product to all of our residents. I attended the Arena Library groundbreaking, an exciting moment for our town. It's somebody had the legacy t-shirt. It will be a legacy going forward, and but very exciting to be there, and it's certainly recognition to the Cordelucci family and Zancor Homes for stepping up and placing $1 million on the table for the naming rights of the facility, but more so than the naming rights, just the fact that the Cordelucci family and Zancor felt inclined to support the arena to that extent and the library to that extent. So thank you to them. The archives tour, I did that as well, and I just want to congratulate the volunteers who have been working to get that set up. They've done an incredible job of setting up displays and cataloging the materials that it has. And I'm looking forward to it continuing to grow and expand and become a focal point for the community to see our history on the walls and on the tables. I attended one of the music festivals at Stonebridge, and it was an excellent afternoon of music. And again, congratulations to the various bands that played over the 3 events. It was a great way to spend an afternoon. I think, Your Worship, that's about it for me. And other than that, it's just been responding to a few concerns from residents and trying to direct them in the right direction. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to Councillor Kinney.
Thank you, Your Worship, and I will be as quick as possible. Start off with the Childhood Cancer Awareness Month flag raising. The Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting I attended. 16th of September with my bride, jumped out of a plane and landed on the beach. Through Muskoka Beach skydiving. It was exhilarating, and she still talks about it, so that's awesome. And it was all for a good cause, ALS. Attended the groundbreaking with all of us at the new twin pad arena and library. As our deputy mayor mentioned, and I think everybody does, it's an exciting time for the town. This morning, I, with Councillor Watson, attended the awards kind of picture taking for the Chambers Awards, and I was extremely happy to see that our youth center won the award for diversity and inclusion. And also talking to Brandon from the youth center, they received a $500 donation from Canada Trust here in the beach, and I think that's awesome, seeing another community partner stepping up and helping something in the community. Staff appreciation barbecue. This is great to see all our staff out, and especially our partners, the OPP. I had the privilege of bringing greetings from the town to bring back the summer music for their last one. That was awesome. As most of council that could make it this morning, I was awed with the new aerial platform truck. And I think we're going to get a report from that coming soon. Just 2 last things, Your Worship. One is the H2 event last weekend. I want to thank big thanks to our OPP and our emergency services for helping to make the team, the town safer in that. And just a shout out to the legal, I emphasize legal car enthusiasts that are out there. You know what? Talk to the town. You would respect our community and you help our business out. So why not reach out to the town and let's make this a legal event. And finally, I have never, ever had to correct our deputy mayor, but I believe, Deputy Mayor, it's the 30th, which is a Thursday, not tomorrow, for our inclusion, wearing orange. I just want to make that clear. But anyway, that being said, thank you, Worship.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Foss.
Well, Your Worship, now I know how you feel, kind of going almost last in this. So first thing I'll say is what they said. I think that summarizes a bunch of it. There are a few things I want to touch on though first, and Councillor Kinney caught it. The National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, hence the orange shirt today, is this Thursday. I actually was a little disappointed that the report on Indigenous education that we were pushing forward to get pulled from this, but I do look forward to that. On that note, I will also point out that the library tonight is having a Zoom meeting on healing and reconciliation for Indigenous wellness, 6:30 tonight. You can go to the Wasaga Beach Library website and you'll be able to access that. Again, I can't go without talking about the library and the arena sod turning, because I joined the library board before I joined the council. So since 2002, we've been pushing for this. Many councils, many boards have been pushing to do this. So it was historic, and the arena, as we all know, is in pretty rough shape. So it was lovely to see. I won't put any negative related to that, but I will ask that maybe the CAO and the treasurer, when they're doing the budget, which is coming up, just remind people of the relation between development charges, reserves, and projects like the arena and library, and also maybe review grant process, because you usually don't get 100% grant financing before a project started. There are opportunities all along the way to get grants. So we need to make sure that the information is coming out accurately, that how this is being financed and what we're going to do. The last part, again, I have to go to the H2OI event. You know, the OPP reported almost 400 calls for service. I think there were 70 cars impounded or whatever, 20 stunt driving charges, impaired speeding, things like that. So for those who think that they were just lovely tourists in our town, and I do, we should encourage people who are going to respect our town. We always should. However, to those who think that they're just tourists, I ask, how many drunk driving or stunt driving, how much should we allow in the town? Should we allow, you know, are 20 stunt driving things a weekend? Is that acceptable? It certainly isn't for me. So anyway, we've had some great positive steps forward, as Councillor Watson mentioned, for the town. So I really look forward to seeing the arena and library continue to grow, or to be built, and you know, look forward to the more activity we're getting as we are able to get out a little more and interact safely. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Again, there's not a whole lot left, but I did attend COVID command team meetings, county council, the chamber awards, affordable housing meetings, the mayor and CAO forum with our neighboring municipalities, the events that have been mentioned. I was there, the ribbon cuttings, I was there. The groundbreaking, thank you to everyone who attended. You know, we obviously, due to COVID and things, we couldn't have our entire community there, but there's others who have stepped up and said, you know, we've got funds coming towards it, so we look forward to celebrating with them in the near future. There is a lot of interest, and I do want to, you know, thank you to the Cordalucci family and Zancor Homes for their very generous donation. They've been excellent community partners, and this just shows that. With regard to H2OI, huge shout out to OPP town staff, as well as our local tow truck operators who assisted in clearing the way and dealing with this week's invasion, and I will call it an invasion. I also want to clear up some inaccurate information. People seem to think that I get to direct the OPP and that I give them orders and direction. That is not the case. We were here as a town to assist them in what they needed done in order to deal with this weekend. So town staff worked to support the OPP in doing their job and ensuring public safety to our community. Had the OPP not been here, I can only imagine the mayhem, destruction, and risk to individuals that we would have seen. I fully support the efforts of our OPP. You know, they were out there, they were in the middle of it, they were getting circled. It's not an easy thing to deal with, and kudos to them. And I would just say for anyone who's looking for accurate information, because there is a lot of inaccuracies out there, I continue to encourage them to go to the town's website. We do a lot of updates, and accurate information can be found there. And that is my report. We'll move on in the agenda. Notices of motion. I am not aware of any. Motions where notice has been previously given. There are none. And calling of committee meetings, Mr. CAO.
Thank you, Worship, members of council. October is going to be a busy month. We're heading into budget season, so there's a number of budget meetings, and I'll go through the dates of the budget meetings as well as coordinated committee and council. Before I do that, just to say that there may be the odd need for a special council meeting, and we'll certainly work with the clerk to schedule those where one of the meetings is already taking place. So with that, on October 7th, we have a special committee of the whole meeting dealing with the budget at 9 a.m. All these meetings are virtual, Your Worship. On October 14th is a coordinated committee at 9 a.m. October 21st, we have our second committee of the whole budget meeting for the month of October, and that's starting at 9 a.m. as well. And the council meeting for the month of October is scheduled for October 26th. And again, it is at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. in the afternoon will be the council meeting for the month of October. That concludes the meeting schedule, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to bylaws, and I will remind you we've removed from the agenda 2021-78 at the request of staff, and 2021-79 will be read separately due to Councillor Watson's declared conflict. So if I can have a mover and seconder for the rest of the bylaws, please.
Your Worship?
Oh,
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. Can we also defer 2021-81, the lease agreements bylaw?
okay. Absolutely. Okay, so it's moved by Councillor Kinney, seconded by Councillor Wells. Resolved that the following bylaws be received and be deemed to have been read first, second, and third time, passed and numbered as follows. 2021-76, a bylaw to authorize the execution of agreements between the town of Wasaga Beach and Regional Tourism Organization 7, RTO 7. 2021-77, a bylaw to regulate open fires, and 2021-80, a bylaw to adopt a COVID-19 vaccination policy. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. We will now go down to 2021-79, and I will note that this is the declared conflict from Councillor Watson. If I could have a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kinney and Councillor Foster. Bylaw to exempt certain lands from part lot control pursuant to section 50-7 of the Planning Act in respect of lands described as blocks 19 to 25, registered plan 51M1188 in the town of Wasaga Beach, county of Simcoe, Sterling Group Corporation. Any discussion? All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Thank you. And just for clarity, the 2021-81 will be done after the closed session. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Worship.
Okay, thank you. So closed session, if I could have a mover and seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Bray and Councillor Wells resolved that pursuant to section 239(2)A and E of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, the next portion of the September 28th, 2021 regular council meeting will move into closed session to discuss the security of the property of the municipality or local board and litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. And we'll just take 5 minutes and then we'll come back for the in-camera. Okay, thank you. So now that we're out of in camera, we will go back to item 8.8, the CAO's report dated September 28, 2021 regarding beachfront lease renewals. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Councillor Kinney and Deputy Mayor Bray, that council approved 10 lease renewals and 2 new leases for properties at the beachfront based on the town's standard lease. All those in favor? And those opposed? Thank you. That is carried by a vote of 6-1 with Councillor Wells in opposition. Then we will move to bylaw number 2021-81, a bylaw to authorize the execution of lease agreements. If I could have a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Belanger and Councillor Foster, all those in favor? And those opposed? And that is carried by a vote of 6-1 with Councillor Wells in opposition. And item 15.1, if I can have a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kinney, Councillor Foster. The council received the verbal report from the Director, Building and Development Services provided in closed session pertaining to a building department matter. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. Item 15.2, a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kinney, Deputy Mayor Bray. The council confirmed the direction provided in closed session to the CAO pertaining to beachfront lease matters. All those in favor? And those opposed? And that is carried by a vote of 6-1 with Councillor Wells in opposition. Item 15.3, a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kinney and Foster. The council confirms the direction provided to the CAO in closed session pertaining to a beachfront property. All those in favor? Those opposed? And that is carried by a vote of 6-1 with Councillor Wells in opposition. Item 15.4, a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kinney. Anyone? Councillor Foster. Resolved that council receive the following closed session reports as circulated and approves all actions contained therein. Regular meeting of council, August 31st, 2021, closed session minutes. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. And confirmatory bylaw, a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kinney, Councillor Belanger. Resolved that a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Wasaga Beach at its regular meeting held Tuesday, September 28, 2021 be received and be deemed to be read a first, second, and third time passed and numbered 2021-82. All those in favor? And that is carried unanimously. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.